that trap accusation against China, to me, is propaganda.
No. And you spoke about the inevitability of Chinese hegemony and China's ascendance in general. But I think what's something that's perhaps weighing in the region in ASEAN at the moment is the potential issues that this may cause. Things like the Belt and Road Initiative, when you have Chinese warships pulling up in ASEAN waters. Things like the South China Sea, things like debt entrapment. So while things like cultural sensitivities within the region are definitely important, I think I'd like to, other things like democratic practices and respect for human rights transcend cultural lines. So I think my questions are, what do you think are areas that ASEAN should be wary of within this new geopolitical reality?
Where are you from?
I'm Singaporean.
I did not use the word Chinese hegemony. I would use that word for the old Great Britain. I would use the word for the US today, but I would not use the word for China. China has a huge domestic market. And historically, that market was sought by the kingdoms and principalities in Southeast Asia. In fact, they often fought each other to gain a preference of access into China. And the Chinese have adapted their statecraft to the fact that when they are organized, they have a huge domestic market and therefore a very strong negotiating leverage over its neighbors. You might call it economic coercion, but I won't call it that. Let's say you're selling durians to China, and today the durian market is growing by leaps. So far, they only like Thai durians, and Singaporeans are hoping that they'll stick to Thai durians. Because if they start eating the durians that we like, then we have a problem in Singapore. And they know that they're a big market. So you're Vietnam, and you're nice to me, they say, okay, we'll buy more durian from you. And you feel, wow, great, many people will benefit. But conversely, if you do something which harms them, they may say, oh, Filipino mangoes, there's a phytosanitary problem with them. There's this bug or this fungus, and we've got to check more carefully, by which time the mangoes in the ships have all gone rotten. They play this kind of game. They don't feel it because if I don't buy Filipino mangoes or Vietnamese durians, I can get them from somewhere else. But you will feel it. That is why they've always preferred to use their domestic market as leverage over their neighbors rather than use military force. And for them, if you read Sun Tzu, The Art of War, if you have to use military force, you are really low class because you don't understand strategy. If you understand strategy and you understand yourself and the enemy, then you can maneuver it such that you achieve your objective with the minimal use of force. So this is the way they've approached it. You raise the issue of Belt and Road. The Belt and Road is a natural outcome of a market which all China's neighbors are seeking to enter. So what do you need? You need railroads, like from Laos. And in a dry port in Vientiane, which I visited, and which once I had an interest in when I was in logistics, I could smell durians because they were all being transported to China in refrigerated container boxes. You will need to coordinate national infrastructural plans so that bridges are built in the right places, so that the urbanization takes place along the right corridors. That trap accusation against China, to me, is propaganda. No Chinese company wants to lose money. They all want to make money. No company is going to give you a project, cause it to go bankrupt, take it over, and lose money. In any case, you cannot cut away a port or a power station. And they're more careful now. They were a little too quick to land and to have these new projects in the past, but they're more careful now. The classic case was, of course, of Hambantota in Sri Lanka. I went there once because Shangri-La had a hotel there. No Sri Lankan leader thinks it was a death trap. They made mistakes. They're happy for China to have a 99-year lease because then Chinese ships will have to stop there and bring in more business. But it is a term used by China's adversaries to kind of blacken China's name. I take a contrary view. Every country on the Belt and Road which sees its economic account with China grow will worry. Am I becoming too dependent on China? What if China would use this against me? So they will want diversification. If you're Kazakhstan, you're Vietnam, you're Korea, Thailand, Laos, instinctively, you want the Americans, the British, everybody else to be in. So instead of saying the Belt and Road is bad for you, which no one will believe, they say, you can say, look, good for you, but we are here. And they'll be welcome. Without having to put in a cent. The Americans, the Europeans, the Japanese can all be free riders on the Belt and Road. And in a small way, Singapore has understood this and played that game. Because we find that in many countries, we are welcome because we bring in foreign investments. And countries like Kazakhstan, like Vietnam, like Cambodia, they all want diversification. Yeah. I don't think censorship can ever be effective in a hermetic sense, that you can prevent all information from flowing. But censorship can affect mainstream public opinion, because most families will watch television, will read the same newspapers, and if the same position is taken again and again, their minds will be affected. And today, all media outlets distort the information transmission. Every prism, every lens concentrate certain views and attenuate other views. I'm a regular reader of RT, Russian Today. I find it offers an alternative point of view. It used to be on Singapore cable television, then it was removed. There used to be an app available. It's no longer available. So I got to go to the website and put it on my homepage. I've been trying to access it in England. It's very difficult. There's much more friction on RT in the UK than in Singapore. When I go to Saudi Arabia, I can't get Al Jazeera. They blocked Al Jazeera, preferring Al Arabiya, which is a UAE. I'm not sure, it's either UAE or Saudi Arabia outfit. Every outlet distorts. We know when Elon Musk took over Twitter, that the old Twitter used to receive instruction from FBI. So too does Meta. And now Elon Musk has opened up Twitter. It's called X. And he's quite frank. He says if Trump loses and Kamala Harris wins, is in for. He said he may even go to jail. And a new pattern of censorship will appear on X. X itself is not free of censorship. So for someone in Singapore which needs access to information from all over the world, what do? Well, I access all the optical pathways. I have CGTN, I have South China Morning Post, RT, BBC, CNN, Fox, Twitter, the lot. And then you ask yourself, cui bono? This point of view, who benefits? Who's distorting? Then you make your own judgment. But for most people, they can't do that. So they will just follow the mainstream and they get manipulated. But this has been since the beginning of time. So this idea that you can have free access to information that is neutral, that out of this cacophony, a melody will suddenly emerge, I don't buy that. Every government, every big player will seek to influence for their own benefit. And the media companies are owned by powerful people, either by governments or by powerful people with their own agendas. Take that as a starting point. They may pretend to talk about freedom of information and so on. Don't buy all of it, because it's mostly untrue.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think that he is right by saying the Western medias are spreading propaganda about China? Please leave your comment below. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you for making it this far. If you like this video, you might want to share it with a like-minded friend. Thank you, and as always, stay blessed.